respected Additional Chief Secretary Finance of the Government of Tamil Nadu, Thiru N. Muruganandam, Commissioner Treasury and Accounts, Vijendra Pandian, CA Rajendra Kumar, and all the office bearers of both the Central Council and the SIRC of ICAI, and my colleagues from the Treasury Department, including Ms. Shobha. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to this very important training program. I think the respected ACS has already spoken about a lot of the initiatives we have underway and the need for us to keep increasing our professionalism, our execution capability. I'll just add that when we had the first meeting of our Global Economic Advisory Council for the CM with Dr. Raghuram Rajan, Arvind Subramanian, Dr. S. Narayan, Professor John Drays, and Professor Nobel Laureate Esther Duflo, the CM made a very clear statement. He said, I have this vision about the size of the economy, about the quality of life of the citizens. And he says, I realize these dreams of mine cannot be achieved through marginal reform or improvements, and they will require radical improvements. And I assure you that the Government of Tamil Nadu stands ready to do it. So as I said in the earlier function today, and I said in many other places, in my mind I see my Chief Minister as a revolutionary leader, a Purachi Talaivar, as we say in Tamil. Because from the starting gate, from the first day we were all sworn in, he has already shown a tendency to break the mold, to go for bold decisions and bold ideas. As a first-time minister, second-time MLA, somebody who only entered politics in 2016 and left 30 years or no, almost 35 years before that to the US, almost 40 years in fact, and then came back very late, then it's a radical step to appoint somebody like me for finance, let alone all the other portfolios I got. But in return, my ambition is very clear. I want to build, as I've said in many places, the most professional, the most proficient, the most computerized, technology-enabled, real-time management finance department in the history of India, of any state or the union. A lot of that requires better systems, better databases, better integration. But at the core of everything, at the core of all endeavor and all enterprise and all governments is the quality of the people and the culture of the department. So we are going to focus heavily on ensuring that all the staff are given the tools and the resources to improve their professionalism, their understanding, their execution, and their connectivity to government and to the public. In that sense, I would say almost anything that the CM may have intent, I may have vision, but at the end we execute it through the many senior officers and then through their reports and their reports all the way down to the last line of the citizen-facing members of our staff. We would not be able to do what we do or what we have achieved so far if we did not have an excellent team of officers who are dedicated to the cause of reform and improving people's lives and achieving growth and jobs for our economy. I also want to talk about ICAI a bit. I think my first exposure to the ICAI was back in 2013 or 14, or somewhere around then when I gave a memorial lecture I think it's called the S. Vaidyanath Iyer Memorial Lecture. Anyway, since then I get invited at least once or 2 years, back when I was a banker, then when I was not a banker and not yet an MLA, then when I was an MLA, now when I'm a minister. I think about a few months ago I gave the memorial lecture, V. Shankar Iyer Memorial Lecture, the father of Mani Shankar Iyer. So I am well aware of the activities of its unique role, both as a self-regulating body but also in the professional development of chartered accountants. I'm impressed by the diligence and the focus, and of course we can all do better, but it's hard for me to see any other professional body that does as good a job. Let me say something about GST before I conclude. As a member of the GST Council, as a member of the standing GOM on systemic reforms, the GOM on horse racing, casinos, and online gaming, and various other things, and the host of very soon in the next few months a GST Council meeting in Madurai for the first time in Tamil Nadu, coming to Madurai, thanks to the graciousness of the Union Finance Minister. I was not enamored of the way GST had been designed or rushed to implementation. I made that, I think, pretty clear. I would hope that one relatively unique characteristic that I bring to public life is that my policies don't change that much, or my views don't change that much based on my situation. My views are informed by core principles and technical knowledge, and I don't change those just because I sit in a different seat. But in the course of working with the GST Council for a year and a half, I have fully realized what I said on day one, that though it may be a less than ideal design, though it may be rushed to implementation for publicity value without thoughtful rollout with parallel process and all that, at the end of the day, it is the largest revenue earner for the government of India and therefore for the people of India. And so it is all our duty, especially those on the GST Council, to make it work as efficiently, as transparently, and as fairly as possible. Some things are profoundly unfair about it, but those are not things I want to dwell on because those get into philosophy and politics and values. But leaving those aside, in terms of simply the design and the execution on a day-to-day basis, there's so much that can be improved. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If it were up to me and I was the Secretariat of the GST, I would hire about 100 full-time professionals, auditors, tax lawyers, accountants, data systems, integrators, data analysts, and I would have probably 1 year's work for them, 100 man years of professional work, and I'm still not sure I would get enough of my clearly visible changes, what I'd call low-hanging fruit, done. But I'm not the Secretariat. I will find a middle ground, which is that very soon, with the Chief Minister's blessings, I'm going to send in a bunch of reform proposals, which I think, without needing any amendment in the law, without needing any amendment in the constitutional kind of framework that was proposed, simply in the manner of execution, how we can make the GST Council and the GST system work much, much more efficiently and much, much more transparently and with participation and therefore democratically than it does now. But that's for another day. For today, the system is complex enough as it is, and though it is primarily the role of the people in the commercial tax department and the inspectors and the examination wing and all that in that department, everybody who's in the treasury ought to know at least the basics of GST, how it works, because though it's been 5 years, I would still say there's a lot of confusion, especially because a lot of things keep changing. There were, I think, hundreds of changes in the first 8 months after GST was implemented, and there have probably been a couple hundred since then in the next 4.5 years. This is a very important training program. I'm grateful to the ICAI once again for conducting this and other programs like it. As CA Rajendra Kumar said, 29th program of its type, and more agreements to come. And I commend the Commissioner Treasuries for this initiative to make sure that all the staff are properly aware and can make thoughtful decisions. The Additional Chief Secretary who leads the many thousand strong department on a daily basis. And all of you, I wish you a productive and insightful couple of days. And I hope you leave much better aware than you came and can put it into use on a daily basis. Thank you very much.